Hi YouTube, this is Pertain to Rose. I'm Rose. Just wanted to go over some things that you could do that is going to save you a ton of money. Let me tell you, these are some great tips. So, my first tip is if you have somebody that works for a veterinarian office, uh, you want to go to them and ask them if you can purchase some things like anti-diarrhea medicine, uh, normal stuff that you would buy at the store is super cheap. You can buy containers with 1,000 pills in it, a lot cheaper than what you can buy it at a store. So if you're paying $5.99 for a little 20-pack of anti-diarrhea medicines, you can get 1,000 pills for like $7 to $10 at a veterinarian office. And it comes in one big container. Seriously, keep that in mind. Benadryl. You can buy Benadryl from the veterinarian office. Um, Animal bite antibiotics. These antibiotics last a long time. Now, I do not recommend keeping antibiotics because some antibiotics are dangerous once they go over the expired date. But animal bite antibiotics last a long time. Let me tell you, I cracked a tooth, and it's in one of my old videos where I was driving from Pennsylvania to Florida and then back out to Iowa. When I left Pennsylvania, I was only about an hour out. I cracked a tooth. From me driving in the cold weather and eating fast food and stuff, it got infected. So when I got to Florida, I went through all my stuff. I found my animal bite antibiotics. I could not get to a dentist, the holidays and everything else. I started taking them. By the time I got back to Iowa, which was like 2 weeks later, I got to the dentist. All the infection was gone. It really worked. Let me tell you, you can get a big container of animal antibiotics, animal bite antibiotics. You can ask your veterinarian which antibiotics that you can store that will last a long time. That's the one that I found, and it helped me. I mean, these pills were like 7 years old, and I took them, and they worked. Now, I also took some garlic tabs during that time because I know garlic fights infection. So I took them on top of it just to be extra safe. Um, they really worked. I was surprised at how well they worked for as old as they were. That stuff works. You can buy large quantities through a veterinarian office. That's just one of my big tips. Second big tip is if you're a coffee drinker, really consider doing this. Go to your local Starbucks and ask them for any wasted beans. Wasted beans. They will give you bags of them that they're going to throw out. They're in vacuum sealed packs. Buy yourself a cheap grinder and grind your own coffee beans. I suggest doing it outside because even with using a grinder, it's very, very messy. But let me tell you, that's free coffee. Oh my goodness, save up your containers and refill them. You'd be surprised. Free coffee. You can go to the food bank or the food pantry, and they usually have coffee beans in bags that they got from wherever. Those beans, not a lot of people take them because they don't own grinders. Ask them if you can have the extra beans. That's free coffee beans. Take them home and grind them. You got free coffee. Those beans that are in a vacuum sealed pack, they last a long time. Let me tell you, you can have them for about 5 years. They will last a long time. That's free coffee. That's expensive coffee. You're going to save yourself a ton of money by doing these tricks. Tip number 3. All those phone books that they hand out every year and they ask you to recycle the old phone books, keep them. Keep them, keep them, keep them. Let me tell you, if you have a spill, you can grab a page out of there, throw it right down. It'll soak up that water. They're great for fire starters. Rip out a page or two, crumple it up, throw it in your wood stove. You can start a fire with it. If you have a messy eater at home, use a page out of the phone book. You can use it to, clean up any slops or put it as a placemat underneath their plate. They have 100 uses. They're great for cleaning windows. It's just like newspaper. Grab a page out of the phone book, you can use it to clean your windows. Have a child you're cutting his hair, sit him on top of one of those phone books. It props them up higher. Great for, trimming the hair or whatever. You can prop them up as high as you want. These things work. Start using it. It'll save you a ton of money down the road. And instead of buying fire starter and all that all the time, start using those old phone books. Instead of recycling, reuse them. We reuse everything. Wrapping paper. Make sure your kids open those presents carefully and reuse that wrapping paper every year. These are things my mother and my grandmother did. It saved a ton of money. We reused that paper for years. For years. I mean, to the point where some of it was pretty faded. But it saved us a ton of money in the long run. My mother was great. She was so frugal that she had some of the best ideas. Let me tell you, my Aunt Leah, she lives like a Mennonite lady. Let me tell you, she has some of the best ideas. I get a lot of ideas from her. And on my trip this year, going down the East Coast, I'm going to stop at her house and we're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. She's a great prepper. You would just absolutely love her. She has like 7 different compost bins that she uses. She gardens. She lives on a wood stove. And old, like her farmhouse is from the early 1800s. So you're going to love her house. Oh my goodness. I just absolutely love being there. Some of the other things that you can do, you get the veterinarian's office, use them at your disposal. You'd be surprised what they can get. They can get you pain pills, that is animal friendly and people friendly. And you can buy them really cheap. Huge containers of them. Really consider this stuff. You'd be surprised where you can save money. Be frugal. You can really save yourself thousands of dollars if you do this right. Start considering these things. I am dead serious. I know I keep preaching about the garbage bags. You don't need to buy garbage bags. Use what you have. Use those leftover cereal boxes and stuff to put your garbage in and take it out to the garbage can. You'd be surprised. The wrappers inside those garbage bags, or inside the cereal boxes, those wax bags, great. I store all kinds of stuff in them. I reuse them all the time. Things like that. Reuse your Ziploc bags. I wash them out. I turn them inside out. I hang them up with some clothespins. And I air dry them really good. And then I reuse them. I reuse my baggies probably about 10 times before I see that it's pretty destroyed and I need to get a different one. And then I'll throw it out. I reuse everything that I think I can possibly reuse. This stuff, I've saved so much money over the years. Let me tell you, you're having a hard time paying your bills, you want to start doing this stuff. You definitely, I know I preach it a lot. Oatmeal. Start eating oatmeal. Oatmeal is so super cheap. Super, super cheap. You can live on oatmeal. If you don't have bread, you can use it in your meatloaf or whatever, your meatballs. There's 1,000 uses for oatmeal that you can use. And living frugally, oh my goodness, that money you're saving, you can pay off your debt so fast if you really, really put your mind to it. Really think about what you're doing. I coupon, I do whatever I can to save myself that extra money. That money goes in my pocket. It goes into my savings account. I have a 30-day interest accrual, so my savings account, my checking account's a 30-day interest accrual. So as long as money is in that bank account, I am earning money on my bank account. Start doing these things. You will save yourself a fortune. Learn those old Mennonite ways and Amish ways of, gardening and cooking, and you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what you can do with one bag of flour. Oh my goodness. Really start learning these meals now. Get yourself an old Mennonite cookbook. Let me tell you, you'll be impressed. Learn how they ate in the Depression era and find what meals that your family will enjoy and keep using them. Corned beef. Canned corned beef. I make a corned beef casserole that's to die for. Yeah, people love it. I use Velveeta cheese and onions and uh, the egg noodles, the white egg noodles, corn, cream of mushroom soup, a little bit of milk in there, some breadcrumbs on top. Oh my goodness. It makes a huge casserole. Your family will love it. So I stock up a lot of corned beef. I stock up a lot of Spam. These are things that you can make in a pinch that will fill your family up. And you'll have leftovers. You really will. Now, I don't make Spam casserole, but I do fried Spam and stuff like that. In a pinch, it's a great quick meal. You want to start thinking these things. Vinegar, you want to keep vinegar. I have all kinds of vinegars. I have red wine vinegars. I have white vinegar, which is great for cleaning and preserving your foods. Probably have about 10 bottles of it right now. I try to buy the white vinegar in the glass jars. The glass jars you can reuse for tinctures. They're great. Let me tell you, those glass jars are great for making tinctures. If you don't know how to make a tincture, you can look it up where you can use the herbs right out of your garden to make this stuff. You save yourself a ton of money down the road. Alcohol, I do keep some alcohol on hand. I do not hardly ever drink anymore. Once in a while I'll have a beer or something. Not very often. But I keep it on hand. Not only is it a great bartering tool, but you can make a ton of tinctures with it. Really keep that in mind, because when medicine is hard to come by, you're going to need this stuff. Sounds like I got family members coming home. The dogs are going crazy again. So I'm going to cut this kind of short. But those are just some of your frugal tips for the day. And I hope you really consider doing some of them, because you'll save yourself a ton of money in the end. I really want to help you out. And I really want you to think prices are rising fast. And if you don't think they are, start keeping an eye on them. Let me tell you. If you have a cannery in your area, use that cannery. Go down there and get what supplies you can. You can usually get vegetables a lot cheaper. Definitely go and check out those areas, discounted stores. You want to go in and get what you can and save yourself a ton of money now. It will save you a heartache in the future. Let me tell you. I love you all. You have a wonderful, beautiful day. And if you got some great tips, put them in the comments. I want to see what you have to say and what you're doing. Thank you. I love you. You just have a blessed day.